Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good morning, everyone around the globe, wherever you are. We're starting a tradition here. Gonna be episode talking about people and careers and how did they advance and reach to certain success points, hoping to enlighten the road for younger engineers and technicians to be more effective and productive in their careers, in their companies, and do spotlights on some characters and steps and milestones in the way. So today I'm having a very good friend and a brother to me, Khashayar, which we would like to call him Cash. He goes back with a friendship to me more than a decade now. So I'm very happy to have you here, Cash. Thank you for being here. I would like you to introduce yourself to everybody. As you're very well known actually, but let's tell more people about you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mina. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Uh, First of all, I appreciate giving me the chance of having this interview with you. You are a very important person in my career. I am a mechanical engineer and I started stepping into the industry the year 2007 as a mechanical design engineer working on the belt conveyors in mining and cement industry. Then 1 year as a mechanical inspector in marine segment. And then I moved to SKF the year 2009. And then around 10 years in SKF, I worked as an application engineer. And then during my time, I have been always involved with mechanical failures, but mainly the root cause I have seen has been lubrication related, and then lack of lubrication knowledge and the lack of best lubrication practices. So I spent a lot in this field, and I'm happy to share some of these experiences with you today.
Be more than happy. So for the people who are the first time to see me, my name is Mina Soliman. I've been working in the field of mechanical engineering reliability for more than 18 years now. I've done more than 20,000 hours in training, 21,000 exactly. And I've trained many people. I've get to know many wonderful people like Cash. So I will be asking you, Cash, now about some of your nicknames that I heard around the market. So one of your oldest nickname is the Grease Guy. Okay, where does this come from?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. Starting with Greece is attractive for me. You know, the year 2009, as a 24 years old mechanical engineer working for an international company, SKF, I mounted the first bearing in my hand, imagine a motor bearing, and then I started greasing it. And then I ask people around me, even some of my colleagues or some of the end users, and see that, okay, what is this lithium complex grease, for example, in your hand? What does it mean, lithium complex? Which type of additive it has, what does it mean, NLGI change, and so on. When I read the books and then I ask questions, I understand that there is a little bit lack of depth of the knowledge in this area because the people see it very simple. They grease the bearings and they start running, and then they expect that after some running hours, they just add some shots of grease and then that's it. Then it was the first time in my career, especially in the steel industry, that I see water coming in, heavy shock loads, high temperatures, slow speeds, and then doing grease testing in the field and doing inspections of lubrication systems, delivering grease in harsh environments. I went very deep dive in grease, so I can share a lot on that.
All right. So you was a Greece guy because you cared about Greece. You wanted to know more about Greece. You got them to know it better. You every topic you said is from the application of Greece, selection of Greece, field testing is a whole topic we can go into. But let me ask you that: what is one of the most funniest, controversial situations you have with a customer during this period? Share a story or experience for everybody.
You mean about the grease, yeah?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
maybe something that the customer was believing
yeah,
it's an old
I
knowledge, but it was totally wrong,
sure,
something like that.
sure, sure. Yeah, especially on the many sites I have been that I see this EP2 grease being used everywhere, motors, fans, pumps, and so on. And then you go on the ground, everybody likes EP2, but mostly they don't understand I mean, they understand it's an extreme pressure additive, but how it works, how the chemical layers of this additive, they help the bearing. Sometimes they damage the cages, which are brass, for example, in high temperatures. So one of my roles has been that whenever I get to use something, first I need to know it in deep and then to know the pros and cons and then try to teach everybody with my social media activity that we need to understand the mechanisms of this grease lubrication, every part of it.
I love what you said because everywhere I go in more than 18 countries I work in as a trainer, uh, if it's agrees with EP2 additives that have to work. Sometimes they do not understand even it's an EP2, what is additives, what that. So they put it in and actually it causes more problems than it solves. So I love that. You should have a complete interviews about this topic. Okay, later on, the years after you were known as the grease guy, you become well known in the region here, the varnish guy. So moving from motors, greased bearings, all the way to turbo machinery. What happened there, and how did it come?
Yeah, thanks for a great question. 2014, I was certified and in lubrication as MLT1, Machinery Lubrication Technician Level 1 by ICML, International Council for Machinery Lubrication. I understood that lubrication is a very, very big word, and then I am just small part of it. So I started learning and reading and practicing in the field. And that year, 2015, I was MLA 3, and then I was a lubrication consultant in one of the largest oil and gas companies in the region. And then I noted first a turbo compressor in a gas compressor having full red, brownish, thick layer of something very soft on the bearings and on the valves and on the tank. And then many
Did you
people,
know?
they,
Did you
sorry?
know it's varnished at that point when you open the
Yeah,
compressor? Did
I
you know the
heard
word
about
varnish?
it. Yeah, I heard about
Okay.
it in the trainings. I read it in the books, but it was my first incident dealing with it in 2015 that a new formulation of oil, a Group 3 turbine oil, was added to a Group 1 as a top up, and then it
Okay.
started generating solubility issues, and then oil was like saturated from varnish fast. A turbo compressor was having a big shutdown within 3 months of adding a new oil as a top up. So these thick layer like a chewing gum on the surface is thick that I couldn't take it off even with my hand. It was my first experience with varnish. And then I dig into the solutions. There are a couple of solutions for this, but we applied ion exchange resin-based technology by patented by EPT Clean Oil in 1992. It removed the varnish from surfaces. It put the oil back into the new oil specifications, and that was one of my great experiences with varnish 2015 so far.
Okay. Quick question that goes around the market. Could varnish happen in non-turbo machinery equipment or just exclusive for turbo machinery?
Let me make a joke here. I mean, me and you, we are
Yeah.
father and husbands as well. We do sometime cooking, and then French fries, my son likes a lot. And then we put the oil into the pan. We are starting heating it, and then after it cools down, and then we want to wash it, there is a thick layer of something brown, sticky on the surfaces that we cannot take it off easily. Sometimes by mechanical cleaning, I mean by our
Yeah.
hands as well. And then this is varnish. Any sort of fluid, when it is heated, mechanically stressed, it will be creating oxidation byproducts. And those molecules are first dissolved in the oil, and then the oil becomes saturated, and then it comes out as a solid on the surfaces due to the polarity. It's attracted, it is sticking on the surfaces, and then it causes troubles whenever it is the bigger than the clearances of the system. Thanks for asking that. You have been also a consultant in the region. Your name came to my attention the year that I wanted to learn lubrication as a total part of the maintenance. And then I noticed that you are part of the team that you developed the ICML 55 standard. So I would like to ask you that even cash as a CLS and on MLA3 and so on, I understood that there is a ICML 55 and MLE certification, which I became very interested into it, and you were one of the
Yep.
guys that you developed this standard. So, can you share your experiences on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you're commenting about the funny example that I like it. So varnish would happen from making falafel to making turbo machinery energy. So I like that. It's a very good analogy. Yeah. Now answering your question. So yeah, when I started my career as a condition monitoring engineer, that's where I started after I finished my postgrad, the vibration guy, Cat 123. And then I started consulting and doing services for various plants, food and beverages, oil and gas, power plant, everybody. And every time I like that. I like that a lot. So when we meet failures, and I like to do failure analysis and root cause analysis because I'm always curious how things happen since I was a young kid. So root cause analysis comes to me by DNA. It's by nature in my in blah blah. I'd like to know everything, how it happened, why did it fail, is it avoidable? So, at a very young age, when I was in my early 20s, like you, I was interested in RCA. I started writing and documenting most of my RCA cases. And one step at another, I was consulting for a big plant here in Egypt, a food and beverage plant. And then I had a list of failures that got me stuck after 3 years of improving the KPIs, OEs coming better, less failures, more reliable equipment. At 80% of those failures that I wouldn't intercept or solve was lubrication related. So the word lubricant, oil, grease is mentioned. At that point of time, I was like 25, 28, I think. Yeah, 28. Well, Mina, what do you know about lubrication? So it's basically viscosity. So I wasn't happy. I'd like to know. I'm an eternal student myself. I started learning. I took steps forward in my career. I took courses with Noria Corporation. I started getting certified by the ICML, and I really fall in love with lubricants. So it's have answers to many dazzling questions in the industry. So one step led to the other. I became an instructor, and then I started consulting for people, doing selection and stuff like that. And I started writing root cause analysis cases. Some was very simple, some was very complex. So one of the longest RCA that did a turbine in a gas field that took us 9 months to crack the case because I wasn't satisfied. We have a wonderful, professional, high educated team, but I was a devil advocate in the room. I keep cracking their excuses. I keep breaking down their judgment because I wanted to know why this turbine failed around 20, 25,000 hour and is happening in multiple turbines in that site. So there was a ghost that I need to exorcise in there, and I did. So those cases get published in different magazines. And then I was recognized by the ICML Technical Board and Jim Fitch, who was is my mentor in lubrication, taught me a lot. I was in America attending a show. He told me, Mina, do you have anything at that day? No. He took me to the ICML and he certified me that he would like me to be part of the technical committee writing the ICML 55. I was very happy. I was very honored because you have to be nominated such positions. So I wrote down the section in ICML section 8 about root cause analysis and how to do a root cause analysis in mechanical equipment in a structured methodology, a structured way that you most probably will hit the right tone and then you will reach the case because the challenge in RCA cache that you will never know if you got it right if only if it's not repeated again. If your activities or whatever maintenance redemption you did stops the failure from happening, then you succeed. Okay, so it's more like crime scene investigation. The guy is already dead. You're trying to understand, well, how did he die? And if you are successful, no people will die again with the same way. So it's only announced successful after your method succeed of stopping that root cause. So I wrote this part in ICML 55.2, which is an alignment between the asset management, ISO 55,000, and actually how to do it. So the ISO 55,000 is more like holistic views. You're scoping the forest through a helicopter, so you see a lot of trees. But in order for the forest to survive, you need to take care of each and every tree. So that's what the ICML takes care about, how to take care of each machine in your facility so the whole plant would be in a good condition and making more money. And it's more about asset management, financial management, and lubrication and reliability. So it's a very wonderful combo. But that takes me to your CLS certification. I didn't take that yet. You have to lead
Okay.
that on that, and then we'll come to me. CLS, what got you there to take the CLS certification?
Yeah, first of all, there is a magazine by Society of Tribologists and Lubrication Engineers, STLE, called TLT, Tribology and Lubrication Letters, I think so, or Technology, TLT magazine. And then I'm reading TLT for many years. I mean, from 2009 so far, it comes monthly outside. And then I was understanding that STLE is formed by more lubricant manufacturers and then the researchers and tribologists and so on, which is more on the core of understanding the lubrication mechanisms and how to use the lubricant. My ICML is more on the usage of lubricant and how the user should be treating with the lubricant. So it got me interested in STLE, what the STLE is doing, and the CLS. It doesn't have levels. It has one exam, very tough one, 150 questions. So I got CLS certified as well. I would recommend that somebody starts with level 1 MLA or MLT, and then go for MLT2, MLA 1, 2, 3, and then automatically your way out of CLS and MLE will be the next steps for you. The more anybody who sells lubricants or deals with lubricants should have these certifications, and I think you are one of the best trainers in this area. Let's go for the, we talked already 25 minutes. Let's have another sessions and we go deeper in the other topics, I would say.
Yeah. So next session we'll be celebrating Cash first recent achievement with MLE. So he just got his MLE certification. I guess you're the first Iranian to do that. I was the first Egyptian to do that. So in next episode, guys, you will be hearing more about MLE and how to take it, when to take it. So thank you very much and see you in the next episode. Bye.
See you, Mina. Bye-bye.